Hi guys, I wanted to do another reading. I had some time and I've been in a really good mood lately. Also, I don't know if I posted I posted let me just I'm gonna introduce you. This is my pet Pothos. His name is Limelight, or their name is Limelight. Don't know, non-binary like me, I guess. But this is Limelight. Been really loving having Limelight here with me. I love having them with me. So I just want. I mean, I think that they wanted to be a part of the reading too. So I put them. I just put them over here for a second, just so they can say hi. So you can say hi to Limelight here. I love Limelight. I don't know. I think this is called a neon pothos. It's like the species, but to me, this is Limelight. So Limelight just wanted to say hello. And I'm gonna do another reading, another general reading, and turn my brain off, shuffle, pick enough cards to make a pretty little map and read it off to you. So whatever you resonate with. Whatever you don't resonate with, you don't resonate with. If you're clicking on this for curiosity, that's fun. But remember why you're here. If it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Don't make things fit. Because last time it was a little bit it was a little bit of a heavier conversation than I planned on having, but I did really enjoy it. I hope that if any of you guys did see it, I hope that you did enjoy it. Don't look at it if you don't feel called to it, because it's a very heavy reading. So with that, all that being said, I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna sit down and get comfortable. And I'm going to do a reading for anyone who might be interested in seeing, like, I don't know what I might be talking about, I guess. So excuse me while I do this a little bit. I'm gonna do this a bit in silence, so bear with me. Okay, I think that is enough for right now. Again, if you haven't seen my earlier video, then I'll just let you know what I'm doing. I'm just flipping everything over because I don't read things in reverse anymore. I don't know why, but I just feel like called not to do that. Oops. So I'm just flipping everything over, and now that that's all done, I can talk about the next step that I do. Like when I map it all out, I don't really look at the cards. I just let it skim over it, as if you guys need to know the process. But maybe you'll be interested in it. I don't know. But I'm gonna read this map kind of like it's like a movie. All right, so for your entertainment, mostly for mine, because I do find it to be really, really fun. But the card at the bottom of the deck is going to tell us what the genre is, or what we can just generally expect from this movie reading, this little movie review. And with Four of Swords, I'm going to say that this is going to be like one of those slow burn movies. It's a little bit of like a make you think, but it's a very, I'm gonna say this is all very like a slow, like what's a good example? Like I think The Witch is a good one where it's kind of slow and dramatic. The Forest Wars doesn't necessarily have to be a horror movie, but it's a little bit like, I mean, I know this is another horror movie, but The House That Jack Made, or The House That Jack Built. I don't know if you guys ever seen it, but it is a crazy movie. Do recommend it. Very, very interesting. I guess there's a lot of like crime movies, or but this isn't giving crime. This is giving maybe autobiography, or I didn't see the Michael movie, but my parents did, and they were talking about, well, my mom was talking about how, I didn't ask my dad how it was, I hadn't had a chance to ask him what he thought about it, but my mom was deeply affected. Like the movie was really good. I'm gonna say that. But it's giving autobiography. It's giving a little bit like reflection. It's giving a little bit like this is a movie that's gonna make you think. Okay, and now that that's all settled. I don't know how many minutes that took to explain one card, but let's do this too. So this movie is about a very intuitive feminine, I'm gonna say. Like, if you resonate with this and you find yourself as like a very intuitive, like sensitive, empathic, you could be a tarot card reader too, or you might enjoy tarot card readings, but I mean, so this could easily be a lot of different people, but I'm gonna say this story is about a intuitive feminine, like maybe someone who, like, I want to say someone who gets like visions or feels weird. You might see ghosts, like you might have what you consider a mental illness. A controversial opinion, but I do feel like a lot of mental illnesses is gaslighting from society to make you feel like you should be different. I only think that because when the state asylums were coming up and people were just tossing their women in their not their women, that's so tossing their wives in there when they have the, it's crazy. It's crazy, the little story of how like people can just throw other people into poor conditions for not being subservient, honestly. But yeah, I do think that that hasn't gone anywhere. I feel like a lot of people are still being gaslighted into believing that their way of thinking is wrong just because it's different. So you might resonate with that. You might start conversations talking about your mental illness or your particular, like it's all like mental struggles, I suppose, or ways of processing. It does seem like this seems like, is this the Empress in the Chariot is giving mom and dad vibes. I don't know why, but the Empress, like the Empress, so you might have a strong maternal figure who puts a lot of pressure into being like socially acceptable. Like they might have instilled an idea of beauty in you that has really like kind of shooken you up. And not to say that you don't reside in that level of beauty, but you might feel like a lot of pressure from this individual to be beautiful, not just for yourself or for someone who really resonates with you in order to maintain that relationship. I think that this, it's giving that this mother figure is someone who's like, don't you want to be pretty for like kind of like the world or like nobody in general, like, or just what she thinks is pretty. And I think with this Chariot card, I think that, I mean, with the father figure, since it's giving father figure, it's giving family lineage. Um, the father figure may be impressing a lot of independence on you, or they might be a little bit like this. The two of them are giving a little bit of control, and they're kind of trying to tell you how to live your life, how to be. And especially if you identify as a woman, like they're gonna try to tell you what it means to be a woman. Like I kind of give it this chariot father figure, will say things like "not my little girl," or like they could be the ones that um threaten to hurt your boyfriends for not treating you right. Like it's giving a little bit like the nothing like you're not good enough for my little girl is what I'm getting. That's the download that I'm getting. And I think that they might be pressuring you if you resonate with this person, or this could be a intuitive feminine that you know, and like because you could be someone who's pressuring someone to get married or something. This is really giving me, I don't know, the high priestess is really giving me Charlotte, Elizabeth's friend from Pride and Prejudice, who was talking about like she's already 27, she's already burdened to her mother and father. You know that little joke. Love that movie. Um, it's a favorite of someone very close to me. Um, but it's giving very much like that. It's giving. If you resonate with being the high priestess, then you might feel a little bit like, you might even be a type of person who's like, what's kind of the point of getting married this day and age? You might be someone who really delve into the idea of being somebody and what's it actually mean. Um, and it's kind of giving me a little bit like, what Princess Jasmine said in Aladdin when her father was like, you're almost 16, you need to get married. And she was like, well, I don't even know if I want to get married. And if I do get married, I want it to be for love. And I really do feel like that really resonate with this. Like, if you resonate with this video, then if you resonate with being the high priestess, then you're gonna resonate with, like like that. I want to say like I don't know why people say like soulmates and twin flame stuff is controversial. Maybe it just gets a lot of people's hopes up, and that can be hard when things don't happen the way that you want them to. But I think that if you resonate with this high priestess, then you're kind of like you're looking for that soul to soul connection. You're looking for that level of peace. You're looking for like to be you and not have to keep going under like the same parental energy where you have someone who's dictating how you look and what you should do or what your ambition should be. And so I think that's it for these four cards in the middle. It looks as though like, and you might be the type of person that's seen a lot of relationships not quite work out. Like the four of cups here under limelight, next to these three towered cards, even though we do have the tower over here, it's giving me a little bit like I have friends and they say that this is cool and fun and stuff like that, but it's giving a little bit like the way that if you resonate with this, you may see your friends as like portraying a message of having fun and having a good time and stuff like that, but how you see them is a little bit like this Five of Pentacles, where they're kind of like empty. Their relationships lack value. You can see a lot of people doing or like going into relationships as a form of escape with the Six of Swords, and or like a form of like really self-indulgent. And usually I don't see the Devil card as being necessarily bad. It's about self-indulgent, and it doesn't have to be bad. But I think with the combination here, I think that we're seeing these people kind of like do love selfishly, and it's not paying off. And on this other side, I think like when it comes to friends, and then I think with the Temperance card is a little bit of like, not only do you see these people performing something that brings no value, you can kind of see how that resonates with you internally. Like you can kind of see um like this really like passionate or like sexual side of you that really needs to indulge. Like you might be the type of person to be like, it would be nice, it would be nice, it would be nice, it would be nice, but you can't stop thinking about how empty you would feel afterwards. Maybe you've done it before. Maybe you had like a hoe phase, or for this particular person, because I don't think that I think the hoe phase, or what these people, what your friends, what you see your friends doing, can work out for certain people. I think that you're looking at them and noticing how it isn't working out for them. I think that maybe in your particular circle, it doesn't actually work for them, and they're not actually the type of person to get value from this. Or you could see that it could be that you see that your friends are gaining all this value that you can't seem to find. Like the only reasons why you would do that is to escape yourself or to be exceptionally selfish. But you still understand why certain people do certain relationships as an outlet for these things. Like, because you do have a side of you that is like really passionate and really like in your body, as well as the Queen of Cups, where you also have the other capacity where you want to be you kind of want to be seen as a like agreeable or connected. Like you want like an emotional outlet. And I think that this corresponds with this Six of Swords, like this need for emotional outlet, to really feel connected to someone. I think that that urge or essence inside of you invokes the behavior of escaping. Like you might be a person that escapes into friends, and or like into lovers, um or romantic relationships, or whatever, however it is that you do it. You might escape into them, or you might run to them in order to invoke this, or to practice or harness or have an outlet for this emotional need. And and I think that you could have, you might run into sexual situations like hookups or anything like that, and for that bodily need. And like that need, that creative, there's a creative essence in sexuality that um is like really, it really drives you to do things. And so if you're limited in the way that you can be creative, it's going to show up in some other ways. I don't know, that's a little bit of a tangent, but I think that you might do it just because you need, like if you do hook up with someone, you might do it just because you need to feel like you can. It's like, it's kind of like a way to not feel limited. Like you're trying not to be limited. But I think that again, when all of it's said and done, and you've committed to someone you didn't want to commit to, or you use someone you didn't want to use someone per se, you just wanted to feel something. I feel like both of these, when you commit to a relationship that you're not really connected to, you're using them. You know, you're using them to feel like you are emotionally connected, or you're using them to feel like you are physically capable of love making or whatever it is. And I think that every time you do use a person for that, it ends in disaster. Like you get that post orgasm clarity or whatever, and it leaves you a little bit more into that Five of Pentacles energy where it is just not, it just has no value to do these things without the real connection for you holds no value. And with all that being said, in the scheme of a slow burn movie, this is one of those indie films where you follow one person, this feminine, and you kind of watch them have their love life. You kind of watch them develop what their relationships were with their parents, what their relationships are for friends, what their relationships are for them personally. And it's kind of like, you know, if this was a movie, it would be all like kind of all like gray skies, and we'll be. I'm imagining that we're following her down the city street, and no one's really out there, and she's just looking at her phone, going to work or a coffee shop or something. She looks over and she sees like a couple, and she's thinking about what it means to be in a relationship. And I think that we would probably get a scene where she's like, relationships don't work, or you know, it's all a performative little game, and you know, real love is actually really hard to come by. I think it would be the lesson of this movie, or the message of the movie. And I think that as this movie would end, we would see this person, like, it's giving me a little bit like, we'll see this person and like go through all of this, right? Talk to their parents, talk to their friends, practice some of the things that they're talking about, like, you know, just, you know, sex is just sex, or sometimes you just need someone to be there, or something like that. And we see her go through that, and see how it's very like French noir-ish about it, where it's a lot of like long drags of cigarette, how am I supposed to say that, taking a long drag of a cigarette. You know, this is very much like in the shower shots. This is very much just looking at the sky, the gray sky, and it's just music in the background, you know, that piano music. And I see her like towards the end of the movie giving up on everything, and then maybe like at the last minute before the credits go, she makes eye contact with somebody. And you can tell as a viewer that this is it, you know, like there's no conversation, there's no lead up, there's just like this one moment, and it just hits the both of them, and you can clearly see it, and then the credits roll. And so I'm thinking that if you're enjoying this little movie that I just described for you, then I think that you might be someone who is like maybe considering giving up, or you may feel like defeated, or it's very balanced too. So I feel like you may feel like you may feel like at this moment you may feel like this is all just a trick, it's just a scam or something like that. But this is, I don't know, like I really do like that last little tarot card reading I did. Um I find that, like, if you're watching this, and I'm really, like, I really do support this type of thinking. I really do support, um, what I keep on trying to say, like, the dark journey of the soul, I suppose. Like, this is real stuff. This is real, like, what does it mean to be a human? What's it mean to be a human that can interact with other people? To what's it mean to be in love? Like, what's that mean? What's it mean? And I think that this is, like, just the unlike the movie that it described, although you may resonate with that. I do think that this is a very first step into understanding that love is something perceived, not created, is what I'm getting. Love is a recognition of something, not a status, if that makes sense. Um, I think that this person, like, understands to, like, a degree or a level that love is more about allowing things than things supporting you. Love isn't something that holds you up. Love is not love is not the bowl, or the love is not the ice cream cone, not the waffle cone that holds the ice cream. It's the cherry on top. Especially this particular form of love. Like, this is a very social love, and as we all know, there's so many different types of love. Like, and what I mean by love is, like, levels of appreciation. Like, there's so many levels. Like, you can appreciate, like, it could be things that you have, like objects or whatever, but it can be things outside of you, like the sky, trees, water. Of course, I don't know if you guys know anything about me, you knew I was going to say that, but rocks. Love is a fondness for something, and a fondness for something is just seeing it, knowing that it makes you feel good, and being able to say that, being able to express that, being able to put that into some type of action. Um, yes, you need truth, beauty, and freedom for love to exist. For truth, you need to know that it exists. You need to be able to see it. You need to be able to recognize it, acknowledge it. You need to be able to acknowledge it. And with beauty, beauty is just something that makes you feel something. It's when you see something, it evokes a pleasant emotion in you. And freedom is being able to share that with the world, to be able to say, like, oh my gosh, I just love the sky. Like, just saying that, that's love. That's all just appreciation. And so if we apply that to person interactions, I mean, lots of people appreciate their pets. Now, they wouldn't say they love their pet like they love, like, a romantic partner. Just like, it's different for friends to romantic partners, or friends to family members. Like, they're all very much different forms of love, because they all have a certain limit into which that you can like, indulge in the appreciation of it. Like, there are some things that you can do with some people as you can do with other people, and that determines the how do I want to say this? That determines how much love you can give it. So how much attention you can give it, how much gratitude you can give it, because you can only be grateful for something you recognize. Like, I can't say that I have romantic feelings for someone I do not know. I can say I have romantic feelings for what someone shows, until it is that I actually know them. because if I can't see it, if it's not shown to me, I can't recognize it. If I can't recognize it, then I can't appreciate it. And if I don't appreciate it, then I do not love it. So that's like when people have like a celebrity crush. And that's why we call it crush and not a celebrity romantic love, or romantic interest. You can't you can't really love them because you'll never know them because they're never anywhere for you to know them. You can never see them besides what they intentionally project. And therefore you cannot say that you appreciate the romance in them because you've never seen it. Just, I mean, yeah, like a fictional character too. You might be able to see how they love, but you don't know how they would love you. Or, I mean, with a fictional character, I mean, like, they're so flat, they're so two dimensional that they're not a person. You can't love that. You can love the concept of it, but you can't say, I love this thing as if it's a person. You know, that character on Bones that you love so much, you don't really love. Like, it's hard to explain. You don't love the actor who portrays that, you like the character. And some people get mixed up. Some people say, like, oh my gosh, I love Johnny Depp. I love everything he's done or whatever. And I'm like, okay, you love every character that Johnny Depp has played. You don't love Johnny Depp. You don't know him. You know? Or you can say, like, instead of saying, like, oh, I love Johnny Depp, I've seen all his interviews or whatever, you don't love Johnny Depp, you love all his interviews. Which I guess it can get pretty complicated um, as you're starting to get to know someone, because I guess you can love only what they present. And I wonder how people normally decide whether or not, like, how much of what they, like, how much of them do you have to love in order to consider spending time with them? I guess it's like what you do when you meet a new friend. Is like you hang out. Like if you met a new friend at work, and you would love them at work until there was a time for like an opportunity for you to hang out with them after work, and then you might love them after work. But sometimes you might love someone at work and then meet them outside of work, and you no longer like them because their work persona was more aligned to your natural persona, I guess, than their outside persona. And the same thing, like, you could meet someone who seems like they're really, really cool and really want to be your friend until you meet them at a coffee shop or whatever, and they're like, you can tell that they're like, they clocked out. They're not that interested. Um, so I think it's kind of, well, that's a very interesting thing too, because then I guess you could fall out of love with people. And I guess that makes a lot of sense because if you're married to someone and you find out later on that they killed like three people, you're not gonna love that part of them. And that might change a lot about how you feel about that person. Um, That's why I suggest as if you don't have to listen to me, but I do think that conversing with your partner is probably the most important thing that you can do when you're in a relationship. So, because, like, and what I mean by converse, I mean by like want to know things about them, ask them questions and listen to how they answer it, and like that active listening when you process what they just said by saying it as you heard it. I think that if you're in a relationship in which you do not like talk all the time, and like I guess I get that other people do not talk and stuff like that, but I wouldn't consider them loving that person, I would say I would consider that loving the idea of that person. When you talk all the time and you share like deep things and like weird things and things that actually, when you share things that are not conventionally attractive and the person still finds you attractive, that's how you know that the person loves you. Like if you hear something strange or, weird, or it could be even gross or something like that, and or harsh, or something like that, and you're like, actually, you know what, I'm not mad at that. That's how you know that you like that person. Or even if you do, like, I mean, yeah, it has to be like that, because if they said something and you're like, well, that doesn't resonate with me ethically, then you should definitely not be planning your life together, unless it's something like I do kind of feel like if you've done some things in the past, this is such a huge tangent, but I hope you guys don't mind. Again, click off whenever you like to, but I think that if you do have a past in which you have done some things that were like there's a difference between things that you wouldn't necessarily just share off the get-go, and then there's things that you don't want like, I guess when it comes to moral or ethical or lawful, is kind of like, that's when you can decide. I think it's really reasonable for someone to be like, oh no, not you murdering 3 people in cold blood at some point or other just because you had like a manic episode. I would definitely use discernment with that, but personally, I would be a little bit like, only it's just because it's very difficult. It would be very difficult for me to determine whether or not you plan on continuing to do that, you know? And then if it's like moral or ethical or lawful or something like that, now I have to decide with that knowledge to. Because if you met someone who has killed 3 people in cold blood some time ago, I mean, you really don't know whether or not that was some time ago or just the other day. Now, if there's police record, then I guess you can tell when that happened, but you don't know if they're continuing to do that. And if you don't know if they're continuing to do that, then you're put in a very difficult position, because now you know. And normally, when you know something bad happened or happens, I don't know. I don't know if you should be holding every criminal. I don't know if you should be pinning every criminal down to the crime that they did before, but I do think that, I don't know, maybe. I mean, y'all can gauge what you think is reasonable or not, and I say that with a grain of salt, because please don't be going crazy just because, like this person. Don't be standing up for people just because you don't want to be alone. Don't be. Yeah, don't, because you can look really, really, really foolish trying to stand up for someone as if they turned a huge leaf and now they're no longer murderous, and lo and behold, they murder a relative of yours. Like, you don't. man, again, this is a difficult one to. I don't know. Like I want to be like, I want to talk as if no one's have ever done anything exceptionally terrible, but I've been wrong before. Just because I don't think everyone is doing something terrible doesn't mean that they're not. And I mean, yeah, I guess like if there was a little bit of lesson out of this little movie review or whatever, is that love is taken in steps. It's not a destination, it's a continuous process. And I think that's what the Empress and the Chariot are contradictorily saying, that, you know, if you just look a certain way, or if you just have enough money, or whatever it is, then the suitors will come flocking to you, and that's not the case. Yeah, that's not the case. There's plenty of beautiful people who never find love. And there's plenty of really successful people in the material sense that can't even fathom what love would be like. Yeah, sorry for that little bit of tangent, but I'm gonna go back to saying love is just, it's a process of appreciation. And when you no longer appreciate, you no longer love it. I guess. Or you no longer love the things that you love. I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of like you love McDonald's until you realize that it's just poison, and then, you know, it kind of turns you off. You know, you might still eat it, but you don't necessarily love it. There's a little bit of that tinge of like worry or guilt or something like that. And I don't know, I guess should people just be breaking up with people when when they no longer resonate with them? I think there's a level of like, what, commitment, where you show, what is it called, agape, when you show a lot of like loyalty, but I think it's a little bit in compassion. You can't show compassion to something that doesn't show compassion to other things. Okay, maybe that's it. Sorry it took me so long to get here, but I think that what this person is looking for is mutual compassion, a mutual wanting for your general health and safety and happiness, comfort and peace, harmony, all that other stuff. So I think that some people commit to people who do not give compassion. Some people are compassionate to people who do not give compassion. Sometimes people's levels of compassion are not even or reciprocal, and they need to be. They need to be for you to consider, for you to say you love someone, or for you to be like, me and this person love each other. I think that's what this message is. It's like when you say that you and this other person love each other, you're talking about a mutual compassion. And I think that this is what you are looking for. If you resonate with High Priestess, you're looking for mutual compassion. Yeah, not just someone who keeps loneliness at bay, or someone that provides pleasure, but someone who provides mutual compassion. It's like kind of like the combination. But there's even more to that, because it's not those two things make a loving relationship. There's more to it, and it's kind of like an obscure, like almost vague idea or emotion, and it's like kind of like both at the same time, and urge, like it's like kind of like all four of the elements. It's like this desire to think about the feelings as a form of value, if that makes sense. Like this person just being alive is the gift, you know, that's the gift. Then feeling that way about you too is the cherry on top. And I think that some people chase the cherry, but there's no ice cream, I guess, in this little scenario. When you have no compassion for the other person, like if you're not happy that other person is alive, then you can never truly enjoy them being happy that you're also like that you are alive to them, you know, for them, not for them, but like around them. So yeah, I would say that you know, if you resonate this, you're kind of looking for, yeah, mutual compassion. I'm gonna say it like that because love is such a broad term, and romantic love doesn't sum up what, I don't think it sums up what we mean when we're talking about this. And I know this was like a long rant or whatever, but it's a slow burn movie. Yeah, I mean it's 40 something minutes. So I'm gonna end it here. If you watch it, you watch it. If you don't watch it to the end, if you watch it to the end, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you for listening to me drone on forever about my ideas about things and such. But you know, use your own discernment and you know, do what's best for you. My ideas are not universal, and your perspective is exceptionally valuable. And with that, I'm going to leave you to the rest of your day. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, bye.